going on, everybody? Sean Daniel with Guitar Control here, and today we're going to be talking about focusing on target notes that make up chords that I'm sure you already know. So click the link below. I'm going to tab out everything we're doing. It's going to be a very simple lesson that might actually get you into formally parts unknown of the guitar fretboard. Alright, so we've got three major chords that we're going to use here and talk about. We have a G major chord, a D major chord, and a C major chord. Alright? Now, every one of these chords, no matter how you play them, how you slice them up, is only three notes. They're called triads, right? Triad is a note with three chords. G major is going to be G, B, and D. So something that I like to stress is always kind of finding out where those different G, B, and D notes are all over the fretboard. Now, this is going to be a way to kind of focus in on specific parts rooted on the B string. So often we forget about rooting notes, chords, arpeggios, however you want to look at it, on the B string. So we need to find a G on the B string, okay? We could count from B, B, C, C sharp, blah, blah, blah. I'm just gonna skip right to the chase. Right here, this guy, the 8th fret on the B string is a G, all right? So how are we gonna get, remember we said a G, a B, and a D make up a G major chord. How are we gonna get to that B? Well, the B on the B string is either open or 12. 12 is the octave, right? So I wanna go from the 8th fret to the 12th fret. But it's kind of a big jump, right? So we're gonna actually take our little friend, the A note, the 10th fret, to get us into the 12th fret. So far we've just got 8B, 10B, slide in to 12B. Now this note is an A, so G, A, B. It's like not technically really in our chord, we're just almost using it as a transition. You can totally use it from a G chord. It's gonna sound great. And kind of like the point of this is maybe if you are playing an acoustic, you know, accompaniment type thing, you wanna be able to go from like a chord into something like that, back into your chord, all right? Anything that you can use, you can play this over a G chord if you're playing with another musician. You can play this over like a loop. You can play this totally solo, make it into a solo for something that you know is in the key G. Lots of places you can use this, but we've got those first couple notes here. Now, the great thing about using your pointer finger, your ring finger, and then your ring finger again, is it lines up your pointer finger with the 10th fret on the high E string. Do you know what note this is? Quiz time. It's a D, all right? So G, B, D. These three notes are the same notes that go into a G major chord, just played one note at a time, all right? So a cool thing to do is maybe play the chord and then hit that little kind of 3-note, 4-note thing. All right, this is kind of a good exercise to jump back from thinking about an open chord up into more of like, I don't know if you want to call this like a lead thing, just a different part of the fretboard, all right? You can use different chord voicings. That G was just a G, kind of major 7 on the 10th fret of the A string, the 9th fret of the D string, and the 11th fret of the G string. So, really locating these notes, focusing in, targeting them is a really important thing that I want to talk a little bit about. So, we're assuming that we're in the key of G. There are two other major chords in the key of G. They happen on the 4 and the 5. G, A, B, C, and D. Okay, so let's actually go to the D chord next. Now, the great thing about finding the D note on the B string is if you know how to play this D chord right here, middle finger 2E, ring finger 3B, pointer finger 2G, open D, you already know where the D note is in the B string because you're holding it, 3rd fret, okay? B, C, C sharp, D. Now use that exact same trick. That's a D major arpeggio, the notes that give us those same chords, right? A D, an F sharp, and an A. So here's our D. This note right here to get us to the 7th fret. So 3, 5, 7, we have a D, an E, and an F sharp, and then that F sharp lines us up with the A on the 5th fret of the high E string. Okay? D major chord, D major chord, to G major chord. So a lot of different things you can do with it already. It's really more about just focusing, even if you never end up playing that ever in your life. I want you to think about these notes being in those chords that you use a lot, right? Last one we're gonna do is C major's chord. It's the exact same thing, but we start on a C. And the great thing about this open chord voicing, 3A, 2D, open G, 1B, there's your C right there. So right there are the notes that give us a C major chord, C, E, and G. C, D to E, G. Okay, so whatever key you're in, any of these notes are gonna work over that particular chord. Even if you're not playing all three of these chords together, you can always see these extensions of the one chord that you know. So like even if you're just playing something in C, you can add any of those notes to the chord, right? C, D, E, G, C, D, E, G will kind of just supplement the chord voicing that you're using. And the great thing is too, since these chords are in the same key together, the little arpeggios are also in key together. So you can use an arpeggio from a different chord over a chord that is in the same key. For instance, if we do this G major chord where my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the B string, and a lot of people play 3B and 3E for a G major chord. As we did before, this right here is a D note. So a D note is in a G major chord. That means we can use the D major lick arpeggio, you can make licks from this, over a G chord. Maybe even like as a transition into some kind of, you know, D major chord, something like that, right? So I think this is a great way to start because it makes you start thinking about rooting scales, licks on the B string, which I think we kind of, myself included, tend to forget about a little bit on a guitar, right? But it's a great place because it's a great way to kind of navigate maybe into something you're more familiar with, farther up the neck, etc., right? So all of this stuff is movable. It's not just chords in the key of G. It's any chord that you want to start. Like what note is this right here? The 10th fret on the B string. That's an A, all right? So we can do the same thing. 10, 12, 14, 12. And we know these are going to give us the notes of an A major chord. So just by looking at this, I don't even have to go back to like an A major chord and try to figure out what notes are in there. I can be like, all right, well, this is an A. This is a B, C, C sharp, A, C sharp, E. Those are the three notes that make up an A major chord. So this will always give you the notes that come up in a major chord, which I think being thoughtful about the notes that constitute a chord is something that I always really hammer home and preach. There's really only 3 of them in most of the chords that we use, like I said, triads. Something to be thoughtful about, guaranteed to make you a better player without even really having to drill a lot of stuff. It's one of those things where like, in my experience, a lot of the guitar students that I have is their hands are probably a little bit farther advanced than their minds are. So the great thing about learning, maybe like, okay, this is like a shortcut to help me find these notes, is you can get better just by learning something without having to drill, because building the muscle memory into your hand, I think, is the thing that is like a monotonous part of guitar playing. That's why learning a little bit of music theory, understanding the rules is something that you really want to focus, because it'll really take your playing to the next level without having to do a lot of work, just some thinking, right? Being thoughtful about it. That's what we're all about here. So let us know what you think. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comment section. Make sure to check out some of these other videos by myself, other great instructors. And please, let us know some other shortcuts that maybe you have and other things that you want to see on the channel, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks a lot.